To the Declaration.
The United States was hardly united in the 1850s. The country had divided into two sections, northern states and southern states. This sectionalism was the result of decades of political, economic, and social differences. But the greatest, most divisive source of sectional disagreement was over slavery. The South's economy depended on an unskilled manual labor force, thus slavery was ideal. The North was a region of factory owners and workers. Skilled labor was required, and slavery seldom provided it. Also, many Northern leaders abhorred slavery for humanitarian reasons. The country was on the verge of chaos. In November 1860, 4 men ran for President of the United States. No candidate won a majority of the popular vote, but Abraham Lincoln, a moderate abolitionist and staunch opponent of secession, received a majority of the electoral votes. As a result of Lincoln's election, South Carolina left the Union and ordered outgoing President James Buchanan to evacuate the federal forts in that state. Buchanan ignored that order. Just after his inauguration, Lincoln decided to resupply the beleaguered garrison stationed at Fort Sumter in the Charleston Harbor. This action conflicted with South Carolina's secession order, so on April 12, 1861, Confederate militia shelled the fort. For more than 24 hours, their big guns pounded the Federals, until finally Major Robert Anderson surrendered. War had begun. By June 1861, 10 more states had seceded, with North Carolina joining them on May 20th. Together, they formed their own government, the Confederate States of America, with Jefferson Davis as their president. Both countries called for troops to build armies. Men came from cities and from farms, from wealthy families and from backwoods settlements. They came educated and untaught, dressed up in fancy new uniforms, and marched off to what they thought would be a short, glorious war. The biggest worry for some was that the war would end before they had a chance to fight.
Hey guys, today I'm on hike number 26. I'm in Bentonville at the Civil War battlefield. Just behind me is the Visitors Center back over there. They have tours of a Harper house, which is set up as a, I guess like a Civil War field hospital. And this right here is a 12-pound cannon. 12 pounds because that's how much the projectile would weigh, or they would use it as basically a massive shotgun. And I think it could fire, the single projectile is like 1,600 yards, so a long way. Would not want to be in the way of that. This is hike number 26 on North Carolina's Mountains to Sea Trail Great Day Hikes book. And this trail's looks like, I think it's longer than 1.75 miles. It's going to be an out and back type thing. There's also an extra loop at the end that you can do. Should be fun. It's awesome weather today. It's I don't know, feels like close to 70. And it's just a little cloudy. It is about noon. There's a white blaze. It means we're on the Mountains to Sea Trail. So we're kind of starting to get into the sandy area. And muddy. Yeah, it's a little wet here. So camp life must have been rough. So far the trail's just winding through the woods there and following the trench. And now we've get to the T intersection. We're supposed to take a right. Bentonville History Trail. That's one of the trenches. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's starting to rain. It's not supposed to rain. At least there was just a small chance. Anyhow, I did bring a rain jacket, so. We're getting to Morris Farm. At the time of the Battle of Bentonville, the Morris family owned over 500 acres of land on which much of the battle was fought. 53 acres of this hallowed ground was sold to Civil War Trust of the family of Dr. Kinney and Carolyn Morris for preservation. It looks like the trail winds along the edge of this field. Hopefully it doesn't rain much more. Just got back into the woods from the field. Temperature is about 72 degrees. It's March 25th on a Thursday, and there's hardly anybody here. I've seen one couple that was walking the trail starting out. The rain hasn't really picked up, so that's good. At the visitor center, they were telling me they have reenactments about every 5 years. They were supposed to have one in 2020, and of course that got canceled due to you know what. But that was going to be a big reenactment with, I think, maybe like thousands of people. They said there would be another one in 2025, assuming we don't get hit by an asteroid or something before then. The way things are going. We're walking along the edge of this field. That's cool. They call these accidental terrariums. I do have to say the smell is pretty awful here, just because I'm assuming what they're using to fertilize the fields. It's a secret. If you're new to hiking, whenever you see a double blaze like that, that means there is a turn or something for you to pay attention to. In this case, the trail is making a turn and crossing the road here. It came from that way, and just as you get into this barn with a silo in front of it, make another left turn and follow this road across this field here. So yeah, it's about 72 degrees. I don't think I would want to be walking this one in the middle of the summer. Just no shade. I could use one of them at the house. Guess we're turning right. Just came from that way, and looks like we're crossing another field. Getting close to the end of this short hike. There is a graveyard here. It looks like Coles and Powell, and there's some just outside the fenced area in the woods over there. Different names, Massengill. Hike continues on this way. I think it's a coal plantation parking lot is where it stops. I think this is the coal plantation walking trail parking lot. I'm not positive, but this appears to be the end of the hike. The book says that there's another walking trail, a coal plantation walking trail that you could take. This is 1.5 miles total, and it's about 220. So we're gonna see. We're gonna we're gonna follow this buck along. No, he's going the wrong way. We're gonna go from here and follow this loop around. I still want to get back to the visitor center at 4 o'clock for the Harper house tour. So maybe cutting that a bit close. I think we go this way. Came from that way. More fields, and now we're going back into the woods. It smells like a coastal forest here, if you know what that means. Glad the mosquitoes aren't really out yet.
In response to the advance of the Union right wing from the east, Confederate Commander General Joseph E. Johnston repositioned his army to cover his sole line of retreat at Bentonville. Across the road and to your left, the North Carolina Junior Reserves had to swing back their line.
Yeah, I'm completely off on the audio tour. Trouble I've been having is the phone signal's not good enough.
A log entrenchment. This was the last battle of the war the 16th Illinois was involved in, recalled one veteran of the regiment, but it was the most terrible of them all. While the Junior Reserves grappled with the left wing, the Union right wing advanced down the Goldsboro Road on your far right, with a strong skirmish line from the 15th Corps leading the way.
I'm in the middle of the woods.
Infantry was opposed by Confederate cavalry, led by Generals Evander M. Law and Joseph Wheeler.
Just came out of the woods over there on the coal plantation loop. It looks like the battlefield trail continues on that way, and plantation loop parking where I started is back this way. So I don't know, 0.4 miles. Getting close to 3 o'clock. I gotta be back at the visitor center about 4 o'clock. Alright, I think I started that coal plantation loop up that way. Went through the woods and came out across the field, went through those woods and came out down there. I think. But once I get back to that parking lot, then I got to take the battlefield trail back to the visitor center. Yep, that's right. That's where I started. Getting back up to the parking lot for the coal plantation loop. I think if you wanted to make this hike even shorter and you had 2 cars, you park one here at the coal plantation loop parking lot, and then you'd come out right here from the visitor center side. Looks like that huge tractor is doing a little maintenance, so I get to walk by that. Yeah, thing is slinging branches and stuff off all over the place. He's like, go on. A safer distance. That thing is pretty mean. Whew. It's about 3:20. Getting out of the stinky fields, back into the woods. What is that? I guess they keep a broom out here for sweeping off the boardwalk. Oh, it smells so much better to be back in the woods instead of out there in the fields with the fertilizer. Dang it! Well, this. Oh, yep. No, this is not as bad. Yeah, this field's not so bad. Last field. Ugh. Stank. 3:26. Back in the woods again. Whew. Made it. It's about 3:40. Back at the start. I got time to catch my breath and take the house tour at 4 o'clock. right, that finishes up hike 26, Bentonville Battleground, Harper House to Coal Plantation. I hiked Bentonville Battleground Trail all the way to the Coal Plantation, then did the Coal Plantation Loop, and then raced back here to the Visitor Center and did the tour of the Harper House. If you come here, definitely I would say check out the short video that they have inside the Visitor Center. And also there's a lot of information in the Visitor Center. The gift shop's pretty nice. I ended up getting a book. I forget the author's name. It's the same guy that did the audio tour. Oh, you definitely want to check out the Harper House tour. When I did it, there was only one other person, so I've got to ask a lot of questions and spend some time checking things out. And the trail was nice, well marked and pretty clean. This time of year, in sort of early spring, late March, the fields, they just got done fertilizing, it smells like. So some of the fields pretty smelly. But the wooded parts were nice. I don't think I would want to go in the middle of the summer because you're walking through these huge open fields with no shade. I would say the best time to hike this would be in the fall, after the bugs have gone away and it's not so hot. Spring is fine too, or winter even, but yeah, this particular time in spring is kind of stinky because of the fertilizing. Anyway, I had a great time. It was very different than the normal hikes, and probably would never have visited this place. I'm not too big on Civil War history and that kind of thing. I've been to a few of the sites, like Fort Fisher, but yeah, it's not a place I would normally come to, but it was nice. Spent pretty much the whole day here, so I like it. Anyway, I was going to try to go to Roseboro tomorrow, so I see there's a campground near here that I may try, and that way I don't have to drive all the way back home. Anyways, I'm gonna go find something and lay down.